And away we go. It's the Nightcap, brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken, right here on BearcatJournal.com, www.galacticfriedchicken.com. Get the app. They will deliver right to your front door, pretty much anywhere inside the 275 loop. Or go visit our friends in Dayton, Kentucky. Tell them to pump it up. They will save you 15% off of your order. All right, Aaron, we're in a tight time squeeze here because I just put the puppy outside at 10:30 at night so that she would leave us alone for a few minutes. You're on mute.
Just noticed that. Let's go.
You put her up for the volleyball stuff, and then when you come home, of course, she's a puppy and she's been up for like 3 hours, so she wants to run around and play with her squeaky toy and fight with her brother and do puppy things. And
you should have adopted a senior citizen.
I know, but she's so cute. She's so cute. She's such a good dog. She's just a puppy. So, we got to adjust. Life is about adjustments. We've made an adjustment. She's in the front yard right now, barking at things. And I'm sure the neighbors love that. So
let's go.
Let's go. It is Big 12 Preview Wednesday here on the Nightcap. And we're getting to a point where we're just going to have Big 12 games to talk about. There's a couple out-of-conference things sprinkled in. But if this is what it's going to look like, I'm okay because there's a lot of interesting stuff in this week's slate. Like maybe not, the overall schedule, and Dave and I hit on a lot of it on the BCJ pod, like on the national level. It is
top 25.
Fascinating. Yeah. It is a fascinating week in college football. But I do think, Aaron, there's a bunch of interesting stuff in the Big 12 this week.
There's not a game projected over 15 points as far as Vegas goes, and that's a good thing. And of course, that game is Texas Baylor, which we'll get to eventually. Yeah. Outside of that, there's only 2 games projected over 10 points. And one of them is Houston against Sam Houston.
And that's only 12. And Sam Houston's 0-2. Let's just go. Let's go.
Go ahead.
Let's do it to it. Oklahoma Cincinnati is the one of 2 noon games. We have covered that a ton. 14.5 is the line. The over-under is 57.5. I don't know, man. I just worry about this Cincinnati pass defense right now. If I was a gambling man, and we say this every week on this show, I'm not. I put a lot of money on Cincinnati points.
I was there.
Yeah. Against Miami. So that tells you I'm not good at this.
However, it is the same spread that Miami beat Cincinnati with. And I think there's something to be said for that. It's also Cincinnati's first game against the Big 12. I wonder how much of the playbook they've been hesitant to open up, knowing this game.
I don't think they've held anything back.
I know you say that, and that's fine. We're on different spectrums, with you being the ever journalist and me being the ever fan, and that's fine. I'm clearly looking through Brent's rose-colored glasses. I feel good.
You borrowed those from him Saturday, huh?
I feel good about this game. I don't know why. I can't pinpoint why. There's not a reason other than a gut feeling, and I'm sure that's going to come back to haunt me. And you can tease me about it next.
Indigestion. That's just indigestion.
That Dave is having plenty of that for all of us. That said, though, I feel good about this game. I don't know that I feel good enough to bet on this game because woof. But especially with all the money we all lost last week.
The bad week here.
But I don't know. I feel good about this game. I think they at least cover the 14.5. If not, if Cincinnati wins, that sets a whole different tone for the rest of the season, and everything else that happened prior to doesn't matter.
And if they lose by 24, it's another long week here at Bearcat Journal Studios.
Then we're all wondering what happened.
The other noon game on FS1, SMU at TCU. The line is only 6.5 on this, but that's not the surprising number to me. The surprising number on this one is the over-under. 63.5. Are these two offenses? They're both like they're both going to be up around 30. I mean, 6.5 is surprising. Like SMU or TCU should be at home better than 6.5 point favorites over SMU, but 63.5 jumps out at me that Vegas thinks this is going to be kind of track meet, and I don't know that's really like. Is that what we've seen from either of these two teams, really?
TCU has not put up less than 36 this season. They have not put up less than 41 at home because they've only played one home game.
They played a bad Colorado defense.
Yep.
They played Nicholls State. And then they put 36 on Houston, who is dreadful. Dreadful.
I don't expect them to put any less than 36 up. Truthfully,
I do.
Well, then we will agree to disagree on.
Aaron, what did we spend? What did we spend like an hour and a half talking about tonight? Was that like Oklahoma's really good, and SMU kept that game close.
Maybe SMU
was 14. It was 14-11 going into the fourth quarter against an Oklahoma offense that scored 100 on the other two teams they played.
Maybe SMU has shot their load at this point, and they've given it all she's got, Captain. They just don't have the power
against their rival. This is their rival. This is the team that they hate more than any.
Who doesn't get up for a game like that? Miami did. Just saying.
But that's why I'm thinking the score is going to be a little lower. That's why I don't know that. If Oklahoma scored 28, I'm not confident that TCU is going to score in the 30s.
Do you know who TCU has next week?
I don't care.
West Virginia. They're not looking past this game. They're on this game. Like, they're ready for this game.
I'm going under. Like, TCU wins. They win by more than a touchdown, but I'm going under. I don't see 63.5.
I'm going over, and I'm going over on the 6.5. They're going to get it.
BYU, Kansas. This is an interesting game for Cincinnati because they have BYU on Friday next week in Provo. They are 3-0. Kansas is 3-0. Kansas favored by 8.5 over under 54.5. This is important for Cincinnati that Kansas takes care of business here, right?
This is the Big 12 game of the week. You cannot convince me otherwise, even more so than Cincinnati, Oklahoma.
It would not have been had BYU lost to Arkansas, but BYU goes to Arkansas and wins kind of convincingly.
Correct.
Like, yeah, that makes this a big-ass game Saturday. So, yeah, I agree that, like, this is the game that's maybe got my attention more than any other. I'm with you on this one.
I'm going with Apple Watch necklace, and I'm going with Jalen Daniels until he shows me otherwise. I don't believe in the BYU hype at this point. I hope that Kansas, though, plays a physical game and wrecks BYU. I don't want anybody injured, but I want everybody tired.
Yeah. The thing for BYU will be stopping the running back for Kansas, Neal. 40 carries, 303 yards, 5 touchdowns through their first 3 games. So,
and Jalen Daniels has only played 2 games. He's got 575 yards in a game that he was pulled early last week. Only 2 touchdowns. I think he's going to put on a clinic, and I think that he's going to probably go for 3+.
The BYU defense has been good so far this year.
Fine.
We'll see how they do against a very creative Kansas offense.
It is the returning Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year in Jalen Daniels, and
the preseason Big 12 Offensive Player.
I thought he was.
No, he was hurt for a large portion of the year last year.
Oh, I thought
he's the preseason Big 12 Player of the Year.
Get it?
Texas Tech, West Virginia. West Virginia sitting at 2-1, coming off a big win in the backyard brawl. Texas Tech, it has not gone great for them, Their only win is over Tarleton State, but they did hang with Oregon. They lost a close one at Wyoming. So that like they've had two really good games that they haven't won. And then they, played what was a JUCO like 2 years ago. Texas Tech favored by 6. The over-under is 55. I don't know why. Like, I wouldn't touch this one with a 10-foot pole.
I agree. ESPN's FPI has Texas Tech at almost 60%, 59.9%. I'm terrified of this game. I guess if you're looking to make some money, you put some money on West Virginia. If you're hoping to strike it on the points or just the spread itself. I don't know. It's a scary game. I'd imagine that I don't know who's better in this game, truthfully. I don't have a clue.
Yeah, you want to talk about I don't have a clue.
Let's move on to the next game.
The I don't have a clue game of the week. Oklahoma State, Iowa State. Oklahoma State has wins over Central Arkansas and Arizona State. They were dominated by South Alabama, 33-7 at home. At home, South Alabama kicked their ass up and down the field the entire game. The entire game.
Yeah.
Iowa State is 1-2. They beat Northern Iowa convincingly. They lost to Iowa. And then they lost 10-7 in Athens, minutes from your current location.
My backyard.
10-7. Right in your backyard. I have no clue who wins this game. What I know is the loser loses. The loser loses.
If Gundy loses this game, he's on the hot seat.
No, I still say
no. Oh my
he's
God.
Done. It's different with a guy that's been somewhere for. He's one of the longest tenured coaches in college football. Like, he's built up so much equity that I don't know that, like, I agree this would be a, like, holy hell. But I don't know that it puts him on the hot seat because he's done so much good there that I don't know that one bad season completely derails him. And they were almost in the playoff 2 years ago.
Iowa State favored by 3.5. ESPN's FPI gives Iowa State 64.1%. Never, ever bet on Iowa State. Ever. Also, don't bet on Oklahoma State this season.
I mean, 36 is the over. 36. Like, if you're trying to, if you're trying to figure out games that you don't want to watch, find a game where the over-under is below 40, and that's a game you don't want to watch.
Well, good news is it's on FS1, so nobody's really going to be watching it anyway. It's going to be the rockiest of rock fights.
Right. Sam Houston favored by 12. The over-under is 38. It's under 40 for Sam Houston. My goodness, things have gone south.
I would take the over on that, truthfully.
Yeah, like, somehow that game can't be under 38.
You have to hope that Dana Holgerson figures out how to score 30 plus.
Right.
On Sam Houston.
You would hope. You would certainly. If that's a 17-14 game, oh man. It's even if they win, it's gonna get ugly down in Houston. 7:30 on ABC, Texas Baylor. Texas favored by 15. The over-under is 51.5. Baylor is bad. Texas is good.
Texas is back.
Texas is allegedly back. I don't know why, Aaron, but I wonder if this is a rock fight type situation where Texas wins, but it's by like 13. Like, the score isn't as big as people think.
No. No,
No,
Texas is all the way back. Texas wins this game
you're
by
all in on Texas.
at least in this game. Next week, when they play Kansas and they have Oklahoma the following week, that's a trap game.
Well, you got Baylor leading into that, and Baylor's not been good. I just
This
wonder
is
if Baylor keeps
this
it a little
this is
closer.
no. Texas wins by 24 plus. Hammer the over of 15. No,
Or hammer the line of 15.
I'm sorry, the line. Yeah, but Texas has got this.
Another fascinating game to me. And it would be maybe more fascinating if John Rice Plumlee was available. But the last game we're going to talk about,
I disagree.
You think it's more fascinating because he's out?
Yes.
I've said I like the South Florida transfer kid that UC saw back in 2021 that almost upset Cincinnati at South Florida, and I forget his name right now.
I got you. His name is
Timmy something.
Timmy McLean.
That's the only reason I know his first name.
Timmy McLean.
Kansas State at home, only favored by 4, over under 52.5. I think Kansas State wins comfortably here. Like maybe not like 30, but like I think 14 to 17 points Kansas State does here. But Will Howard might be, there's a lot of injuries at Kansas State right now.
I don't honestly believe in Boise State that UCF beat in Boise. I think this is a measuring stick game for UCF. If UCF wins this game against Kansas State, then I think it's fair to say that they're going to be one of the teams to reckon with in the Big 12. If they don't, and Kansas State does what I think we all probably expect Kansas State to do, Will Howard has been fantastic with Kansas State this season, albeit they did lose just last week to Missouri. I don't know. I'm feeling Kansas State, but I think this is a very big game, a pivotal moment, if you will, for UCF.
It's a big moment. I think it's a bigger moment for Kansas State. Like
for both teams,
an unexpected loss.
Yeah,
you got some injuries. You're dinged up. Like you're playing a UCF team that is playing their first Big 12 game. The difference being it's at your stadium, it's at Kansas State, so that does give them a little bit of an edge with the game in the Little Apple.
It's their first Big 12 game, but not their first Big 12 game ever. It's UCF's first Big 12 game.
That's what I mean. I'm talking about UCF. It's their first Big 12 game ever. So they're going to have a similar momentum that Cincinnati does, but the game's not at the Erector Center. It's at Kansas State. And Kansas State is probably, like, you would expect that team to be plenty pissed off after losing last week.
To Missouri.
So, yeah. Like, if Kansas State is real, and they're going to be, and I think going into that loss, we thought that's the team that might, like, be able to break up an Oklahoma-Texas championship game. You can't lose to UCF after losing to Missouri last week.
They were ranked a week ago, Kansas State, and they are no longer ranked. They dropped over 10 spots, and I don't know. I think that's definitely an intriguing game.
I'm taking Kansas State and giving them.
I'm with you.
Give me 10. I like that kid, man. I think he's better than John Rice Plumlee. I do.
I agree.
I don't know. We'll see. There's the Big 12 preview for you. I'm enjoying. Like, Aaron, come back real quick. How much more fun are these to do? I had to do last year.
I actually care about the names.
Well, like, they're interesting. The games are interesting to talk about. Last year,
some of these guys will be drafted. Even it's crazy.
Last year, we're like, okay, well, now we've got Tulsa at Temple, and we were both like,
all 17 people in attendance are going to be upset one way or the other.
If their fans don't care, why should I care?
Because we had a YouTube channel to run.
I know, but I'm like, my energy levels were low. My energy levels talking about this. There's something interesting in every one of these games.
Yes, that
And
is
I
accurate.
love it. I love it. All right. We'll see you tomorrow night. That's the nightcap. Brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken right here on BearcatJournal.com.
See ya.